The Legend of Gravity Raincoat. Who was Gravity Raincoat? Why is this video called The Legend of Gravity Raincoat? Hey everybody, this is Grady at Twin Creek Audio, and today I'm going to attempt to answer those questions. Gravity Raincoat started when I met Tom McKinney and Shannon Murdock the summer before I started high school. At the time, my dad was in a classic rock band called Biff Bobney and the Biffettes, and they had enclosed a room in my parents' barn behind the house, and they would practice in there. So they had a full PA system and a drum set and all that kind of good stuff out there in the barn. And they were cool enough to let me and my new friends hang out and play music in the barn. And so, we were having a great time. We had this cool practice room to use, which we started to call the Jam Shack after a while. I think everybody called it that. My dad's band and his friends and all of us is the Jam Shack. And around the same time, my mom had purchased a 4-track cassette machine for my dad at a music store where she was doing some work at the time. It was a Fostex X-30. And so, of course, I took over the little 4-track and took it out to the Jam Shack, and using the 4-track recorder in conjunction with the PV-PA mixer that my dad's band had for their practices, we started to make records out there. And the first thing that Tom and Shannon and I did was an EP called It's Easier to Walk. And I don't have any recordings that I could transfer. I do have some original 4-track tapes of that, but none of the mixes. For some reason I don't have that one, but I do have the artwork that Shannon drew. And Shannon, of course, later was in the band the Mayhaw Prophets with me, and I have the video, The Legend of the Mayhaw Prophets. I'll put a link to that at the end of this video so you can check out that band that Shannon was also a part of. And Shannon sadly passed away in 2016, and so that's the main reason I wanted to make these couple of videos about these two bands that I was in. Not a lot of people probably remember this, or if you do, you're pretty cool. We did some innovative stuff out there in the Jam Shack. We did some early samples where Tom and I would record things onto cassettes and then fly them off of the cassettes we had made onto the 4-track. So we made some sound collages and even a couple of comedy bits and things that we put on It's Easier to Walk, an EP, on the cassettes. And we sold the cassettes at school to our friends, and it was great. The kind of stuff that we did back in the late 80s, early 90s. Just a lot of fun to remember at that time. Later on, a guy named Ty Nguyen joined us to play guitar, and we made what we considered, I guess, a full-length recording. We called that one Psych. I do have some clips from Psych. This first one also recorded at the Jam Shack with the 4-track, which was that Fostex X-30. Some kind of a PV mixer, had the wood grain sides and everything. This is a song called Look Out, He's Got a Gun, and that's Shannon, the drummer, shouting the title of the song at the beginning.
Look out, he's got a gun!
This next clip is a song from Psych, also recorded in the barn. In this one we used a recording of a real rainstorm that we had made at the Jam Shack. I don't remember what kind of microphone we had, but we just stuck it out the door to record the rain. Used it at the beginning of this song. I didn't play anything on this song. This is Tom playing bass with, I think, his delay pedal, because Tom had all the effects goodies and we would run things through that to get weird sound effects and stuff. But this is Tom on bass with a lot of delay, and Shannon on drums, and the rainstorm recording and various other things. I think I'm the one counting at the beginning of the track. But this is from Gravity Raincoat Psych. This is called Grids.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Later in Gravity Raincoat's early history, Jay Anderson joined the band to sing as the lead vocalist. At first, I think he sang backup vocals with it at a show, and then eventually took over as the lead singer. And we did a demo with Jay where we re-recorded a couple of the songs from the Psych album. I don't have any of those, but that was it for a while. Now, if you remember, Shannon and Jay both went on to form the Mayhaw Prophets with me throughout the mid-90s. And again, I'll put the link to the Legend of the Mayhaw Prophets video at the end of this one. While Shannon and Jay and I were playing together in the Mayhaw Prophets in the 90s, Tom McKinney went on to play bass for local Nacogdoches favorites, the Beef Masters. And Tom played with the Beef Masters for many years, and even took part in a reunion show just a couple of years ago in Nacogdoches at Mast Hall. In 2007, the three original members of Gravity Raincoat, myself, Tom McKinney, and Shannon Murdock, reunited for just a day, or really a weekend. I think it was a day and a half. I know Shannon was only there for one day, and we recorded the Space Thumb EP. Now, this album was done after I had a much more professional type studio, had it in the back of my house, and it was done with an MCI JH16 24 track and a Soundtrax Topaz 24 channel console, the Space Thumb EP. And since this is recent, I do have some good quality clips from Space Thumb, so the first one I'm going to play is Bad Exchange, which is the first track on the Space Thumb EP. I want you to pay close attention to Shannon's very powerful drumming on this track. This one's called Girth.
There are times when the weight of the world holds me down, and I can't move. Arrows from all sides, I flanked out, no outgunned, and it all comes down on me like a hammer from hell, all around the stand my ground and try to turn the tide. Bottle stress and depression, push it aside. They don't know my mind. They don't have my time. I know shut up if you want something. Deal with it. I know you don't. Look away and hold me. Just go. You're distraction. Just go away. Oh yeah.
I realized that I left out one of our most popular songs, the song I Call Myself Bunglethorpe, which was an acoustic song we did back in the Psych days, and we re-recorded once Jay had joined the band on vocals. I don't know if it's a joke that everybody liked this song, I Call Myself Bunglethorpe, or not, but I did record part 2. I wrote part 2 for the Space Thumb EP. But I'm not going to play the clip of Bunglethorpe Part 2. Maybe I should. Okay, I'll play you a clip of Bunglethorpe Part 2. I Call Myself Bunglethorpe Part 2. I'm just going to play the guitar solo, maybe. So Gravity Raincoat is legendary to me and near and dear to my heart because it's the first recordings that I ever really did when I was growing up, about 15 years old, in the barn with a 4-track. And it's what started my love of audio production that still carries on to this day, as you can probably tell if you look behind me right now. So Gravity Raincoat will always have a special place in my heart, just like our drummer Shannon for Gravity Raincoat, and also the Mayhaw Prophets, who is an amazing drummer. So these clips, they're, about the band and a tribute to Shannon, his amazing drumming. I'm glad I was able to clean up some of these clips of these two bands and make these couple of videos about Gravity Raincoat and then the Mayhaw Prophets video that I made. So yeah, Gravity Raincoat. I'm going to play one more clip of Gravity Raincoat during the outro, which I put down as, oh yeah, this is Tom and Shannon doing kind of a funk jam that was also on the Space Thumb EP. And I hope you've enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, check back for future videos, and jam out to this outro while you have an excellent day, night, evening, hour, minute, second, nanosecond, etc., etc. Take care.